Your assignment for this lesson is to follow along, and you will end up with a rock that looks like this. Okay, in this lesson, we are going to learn how to do swishes. And I don't know if there's a technical term, but that's a term I use. So here's the same rock we were working with. I'll tell you what I did that I didn't have on camera is I went ahead and I finished walking my dots around this big dot here. So I did all my green. The blue was so light that I thought, you know what? I think it'll look good with white. So I put white on top of the blue. So I went around with my pencil and I dipped in white and I just top dotted. And then I lightened my green because the green that we had used before was this one, and I went even lighter with it. I wanted to go even lighter so that I could see a little bit more dimension. So I did that, and then I top dotted these two dots over here. So that's what I did. Mainly, I didn't want to bore you by sitting here going around, going around, going around. So now we're ready for the swishes. So what we're gonna do is we have some green paint over here. And this technique is probably I'm probably the worst at this. Okay, so what you do is you dip in your tool, and I did try to do swishes with this, and it did not work very well. When you swipe down, it made kind of a mess. So we're gonna use our pencil tip to do it, and you're gonna dip your pencil into the paint and try and get a bunch on there. And we're gonna start from this dot right here, this one right here, the last one, and we're going to put a dot. That looks like a lot. Okay, we're gonna put a dot, and we're going to drag it down. And it makes a little swish. And so we'll go over here to this dot, put a dot, and drag it down. See the little swishes? And just keep doing that all the way around. Like I said, I'm like the worst at this. There are some people online that can do an awesome job at these things. I have not mastered it yet. Okay, so dot and drag, dot and drag. See, that one didn't come out too pretty. Dot and drag. Dot and drag. Okay, so I'm coming around to the side over here where I'm gonna start getting paint on myself if I'm not careful. Dot and drag. See, I obviously touched a dot and got it on there, but that's okay, I'll get it off in a minute. And last but not least, you gotta be careful where you hold it. Dot and drag. Ah! Okay. So those are swishes. And here's a little trick. If you want to hurry up and get it to dry, you can just use a regular blow dryer to try and hurry it along. Just try not to do it too close to where your paint blows. Okay, and that should be pretty good. And now we're gonna do the other side. So dot, 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 and drag. Dot and drag. The more you do, the better you'll get. And this is kind of like walking the dots, where the further out you go, the less paint you have on your tool, and so the line gets thinner. So it starts off really thick, and then it gets thinner. And let's see if I can finish this real quick. Trying to hurry. Okay, that's all of those. So just like you can top dot with different colors, you can also do your swishes with top colors. So I'm gonna pause this while it dries because it won't be dry enough using a blow dryer for me to be able to paint on top of it again. So I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'll come back and show that part. Okay, so now we're gonna top dot it, or not top dot it, top swish it, I guess. And I think I'll just use white. I noticed I got some over here, which you can use your wet Q-tip on if you want to. I'm gonna use paper towel. Messy. And then worst case scenario, if you can't get this off, you can always just go back and paint over it with black, right? So like if it can't come off, or if it's in a really awkward place where you can't get it, you can always just take black paint and paint over it. Okay, so I'm gonna use white to go over it so that it'll really stand out. I don't think I have any white, so let me put some out. But you could use like a lighter color green or whatever to go over it, just like we did with the dots. And so this is pretty simple. You're just gonna go over it. So you're gonna tap and drag. Only I'm going to not apply quite as much pressure as I did before because I wanna make sure that some of the green is still showing through. I don't know if you can see that. So same technique. You dip it, dot it, and drag it. It's a lot harder to do top swishing when you have a limited number of tools. Like personally, I would probably do this with like a smaller tool so that I can ensure that my green come out. I think I showed you before that we have a toothpick, that you can use a toothpick. But that's probably what I would use. I would do something skinnier than this little pencil. But since we're only using 3 tools, I'm just going to not apply as much pressure. And so there you go. We've top swished it. So your assignment is to do your rock. Do your swishes and then do your top swishing. Although if you, and it's really just for practice, if you like it without the top being done, don't feel like you have to do that. I think it's super hard to do. Let's see, there we go. Okay, that's your assignment. Have fun.